Good morning, Adele.
Good
You
morning
are
out
the
there.
first one here today. It's good to see you here with us today, young lady. And I hope you're having a good day so far. My glasses look crooked when I look on here. I shouldn't look. Then I'd be fine. Hey, Connie. How are you? We're running to get here this morning. Feel like I told him I felt like I'm moving, but not getting anything done. You have those days, huh? Good morning, Brother Blue. Good morning to you and your family.
Yeah, good to see you out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Kessler.
Hey, Esther Castle, Jill. Good morning to you guys. Let us know if you're hearing and seeing us and everything sounds good on your end. Hey, Dee Dee and George. Hope you're doing well.
Okay.
Phyllis Kendrick, here she comes. Here
There
she
she is.
comes. We love seeing you guys come in.
Coming in strong. Let us know if you can hear us okay. Give us thumbs up.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Hey, Deb. Hey, Joe. I'm glad you guys are in here with us.
Dr. Joe, Rondo, Miss Phyllis.
Yeah, Judy Hill. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Yeah, and I want to thank Brother Carr and Sister Carr and Sue for sending in their Cash App already. They're on the ball this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for letting us know where you're hearing and seeing us. Great. Want to do I am immortal affirmation this morning?
Yeah,
That
go
gonna
ahead.
work for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
He didn't sleep well, so if he yawns, that's why. Okay, if he looks a little out of it, that's because he didn't sleep good. But we're gonna go right on ahead. All right. Hey, Pat. I'm glad you're here. Sue just came in. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Shanetta
Okay.
and Robert and Ethan. I hope you got Ethan tied down.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's got to have something to do. You know that. All right. Let's do our immortal affirmations, if you would. If you can settle down for a moment and not multitask and just center yourself. Good morning, Vern.
Good morning
Center
out there
yourself
again.
and try to be as quiet as possible and without distractions if it's possible. If not, just listen. Okay? And I'm going to start with the I am immortal affirmations. And here we go. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take another deep breath in. And now release it and release all your concerns, all of your negativity, all of the things that are on your mind. Let them go. Just sit them aside for a while. Just leave them outside for a little while. You can pick them back up later. And I want you to repeat after me. I am immortal. I am not of this world. I am birthless. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am without beginning or ending. I am born of spirit. I am spirit. I make myself as God, even as did Jesus, thereby assuming my true identity. I am immortal, created in the image and likeness of God, with dominion over all things. All things are placed under my immortal self. I am immortal. The power flows direct from the Godhead into my expression. All things are placed under my feet. I possess full authority over all transient patterns of matter. At the moment of my recognition of my immortal self, I am in authority. To one I say, go, and he goes. To another, come, and he comes. The recognition of my immortality vests me with the power to disintegrate all patterns of evil.
Mm-hmm.
At the coming of this light, the shadows of evil are automatically dispersed. This is the effortless, unlabored action of light. No resistance is possible. No struggle necessary. The recognition of my divinity does not set up a counterforce to evil. There is no battle between good and evil, which takes place in spirit. I am immortal. My eyes are too pure to behold the iniquity of human thinking. I am free from the hypnotism of history, race, established beliefs. I am immortal. I am not of this world, yet I am in it. My body is the temple of the living God. I am filled with the ageless life and light of God. I am immortal. I live in the changeless realm of spirit. I see through all thought pictures of separation. I am God in essence. I am one with God. I am immortal. I live in the abode of pure spirit. Nothing can withstand this immortality. All things are revealed in this light. Nothing is lost, nothing is stolen or taken from the one. I am the voice. I speak and it is done. The babbling, chattering voice of matter goes still. I am immortal. Everything that is true is eternal. Everything that is true is real. Everything that is true is here and now. I perceive this at the moment of recognition. There is no time, no waiting, no begging, only recognition. The moment I enter into the consciousness of immortality, I live, breathe, move, and have my being in God. I perceive all things as they are. I know from this elevation that the answer is before the question. I am immortal. I see the restoration of all things. I live in a world of spirit. I am no more under the curse of the law. The moment I become conscious of this, the patterns of human thought lose their power. All things, therefore, respond, cooperate, assist, and in every way help me in revealing the kingdom of heaven on earth. I am immortal. I am clothed in my right mind, sitting at the feet of God. And so it is.
I got something I'm going to say to you now. When you wake up to your true self, your God identity, you'll find out that there is no more apartments in God or in yourself. Apartments, meaning that there is no more. You hear people say, I think I'm going to get me an apartment. Meaning I'm going to get me something that is apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find me a place and call it an apartment. 3-room apartment, 4-room, 10-room, 8-room, 1-room apartment. There are no apartments in God. Wow. I'll tell you, boy.
So there are no lines of division.
And I'll tell you something else. If in Ephesians it talks about us being seated in heavenly places, and when it says that, it doesn't rule out that if you want to continue to psychologically or physically or spiritually say there's a spiritual warfare, it means that you are no longer a leader apart from God to say that spiritual warfare is more real than your God identity.
So as we end the war on the inside, we
and then with what you say,
in the war on the inside.
And if there is a war inside, you are in a different apartment.
Yes, your consciousness has moved to another apartment.
No apartment, but an apartment. A part of you is no longer involved in spiritual warfare, even though it may exist.
Yes.
And you don't go around, hear people say, I got a place in God.
Place. Because there is no other place than the place that I am.
In other words, when you find out who you are, all placements are replaced.
I know this sounds crazy to the mind. So some of you listening, hang in there with us.
Yeah.
But we're playing a character in a dream world.
Yeah.
And the character that we play is who we think we are.
I tell you, in brick and mortar church building, or either in the prophetic area, there are those of us who constantly wage a war. And that war, the war itself is putting the ideal, is using the ideal of an apartment, or is using the ideal of separation from God to see something of an other.
Okay.
An opposite.
Okay.
Yes, there is a warfare, but it does not have anything to do with you being separated from God.
True.
But it does get your attention away from your true self, which means you go back under the fall. The fall is the idea that a warfare is more real than God is.
So if it's not a warfare, then I must recontextualize what's happening to me
Mm-hmm.
and not see it as an enemy or something that's threatening.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at it as an enemy or something that's threatening, I am going to go into panic mode,
Mm-hmm.
and that internal war starts on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, the whole thing about, if, say for instance, you have a pain.
Yeah.
Pain. Let me say it like this. I'm going to show you how to see this thing with the eyes of God.
Okay.
Everything that we or you or they or whatever went through as a child growing up as painful and emotional disturbance, environment, condition, whatever it was that happened. And it narrows it down to the 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, and even in the small measures. Did you, I never thought till now, I didn't know that pain is a translation, and when it is translated, will translate itself into what you are doing now. That pain that you suffered or that was suffered is the inside that past experience, in the illusion of that past world. It was telling you what you're called to do now.
Okay. Yeah. Israel said he already popped.
Lord, hey, you're popping papa boy, I tell you. Hey, I'm gonna have to hold on now, because you might have to put yourself back together and pop again. Oh, they always say papa with a rolling stone. Boy, you are popping in a heavenly place.
So I cannot learn what I am or who I am. I can only remember, but I have forgotten about myself.
The kiss of God is music. It is a sound and a vibration of a great life that you are. The kiss of God is the awareness. It is a great experience. The kiss of God means you will, when somebody say, that girl kissed me, that boy kissed me, and I've been messed up ever since.
Yeah, you did that to me.
See, there you go. See.
He was a good kisser. He was. You still are. Are you still a good kisser? We're gonna put it to the test.
She done cranked up that apartment again.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna mess you up. Can you go back over what you said about the pain? Because something struck me when you were talking about that.
All the past grief, pain, hurt, disappointment that you went through, and even now, can turn lemons into lemonade.
Okay, that's the cliche we've heard for years. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So you're saying use the pain. Use the.
Let's see. Yeah, use it. I heard that. Let me tell you something. When the muscles of the infinite identity that you've always been, even before salvation, if you want to call it in churchology, paper and ink Bible, that suffering that you went through, or whatever you went through in school and education and growing up and fighting and all that stuff in your home and abuse, you don't have to turn it into a gold mine. It is already turned. The reason why it came up, whoa, my God. The reason why your life was like that was because you were already the king's kid, and destiny was trying to set you into an emotion, or to a motion of a notion that if you go, Lord have mercy, I'm trying to get it out of it. It's pushing through me. Okay. You were told by every opposite that took place in your childhood of the greatness that you were and is right now in God.
So are you saying and I want to make sure, because this
Yeah,
is
go
how
ahead.
I'm interpreting
Go ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Are you saying that everything I've been through and everything I've gone through
Yes.
right now
Yes.
was deliberately designed
Yes.
to pressure that I am
Yes.
out?
And you set it up before the foundation of the world in Jeremiah 1 and 5.
So I shouldn't resent anything.
Thank you. Thank you. The resentment is the apartment. Resentment is not coming from you. It's coming from your false
and the
condition self.
resentment is the resistance of
Lord have mercy.
the mental self
Yes.
that doesn't want to
Yes, it's the monkey.
leave.
Yes.
I won't say leave.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't want to disappear. Is afraid of dying and disappearing.
Now,
Connie said, "Oh Lord, help me."
Hey.
Well, look, I read this morning, and this really, really stuck out to me. You're talking about that internal war, the battle, that battle or warfare, spiritual warfare. He said this: "I can do nothing for you, but work on myself."
I see you and hear you reading that, but
I can do nothing for you, but work on myself.
okay, I'll take that. Let me say it like this. When you start, if that, I'm almost to the point where I'm almost ready to say I can't do nothing for myself.
Well, that too.
But
that too.
Let's say it like this. God, this thing is something.
Yeah, it is.
When you start looking and finding and end up going nowhere but back to who you are in the seat that you're seated in, you are changing others.
Yes.
Let me,
and that's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Your pain
is
a universal pain that is going to be a school. If you can see we are can't go to school. We are the school. The school, let me tell you, the school has always been everything that you went through with cognizance awareness or unconscious awareness. The school has started. When you came here, let me go back to the womb.
Okay.
Before you came, you knew already before the foundation of the world what events that were going to take place in your infinite self. You knew this,
but before when you got here.
Yeah, if you, matter of fact, you set the doggone thing up in your divine essence before God spit you out. Whoosh.
And he really didn't spit us out.
They really didn't,
because we've never left inside God.
Thank you. Now we're making a turn. We're making a turnaround.
We are all in the mind of God as God as a being. If God is a being, which is God is no thing, we are all in the mind of God as God's imaginings.
Yes. Now wait a minute. This whole thing that we're talking about this morning is talking about your real you.
Yes. And we dare not talk about anything other than that, because that is the truth.
If you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity from the mother's womb, you still got to jump on life because you were the one that was observing the whole event from your divine essence before you were conceived in the womb.
Yes. Now I have to say this. When we come on these live streams and we talk this stuff, we have to go against every damnable resistance in our own minds.
You have to.
In order to say what is true and call ourselves up out the grave. That's all we're doing. Call ourselves up out of the grave.
Wait.
That's what we do.
The resurrection power is us calling us out of the grave.
So we call you out this
Lord
morning
have
of
mercy.
your graves.
Come on out.
Your
Come
graves
on out.
of belief, your graves of
Come
fear,
on
your graves
out.
of anger, your graves of hate, your graves of I can't make it, your graves of I'll never get there. That grave that keeps tying you down. We have to come out of that grave every Sunday and every Tuesday. Whew, I'm popping, y'all.
The bread
I'm popping.
that fell from heaven was you reversing the fall because of ignorance of the mind. And now you have relocated your identity back to its original essence. Wherefore the fall is nothing and has not been nothing else but a misplaced identity.
Yes.
You didn't see it right. And everybody that's come into this world don't see until they see. Now, some of them I run across can see pieces of this, because we got a niece that knows everything, practically what we're saying, and she never heard any of you guys or us talk about this.
Not
stuff.
even studying it.
Not even studying it. She know it, and I'm sitting there looking at her.
It is us.
It is us.
It's not even in us. It's just it is us. And Norman said this. Pastor Norman said this. He said we leave ourselves breadcrumbs as clues to rediscover and find ourselves again.
All right. The breadcrumbs is us breaking off deliberately pieces of our identity. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Here come. When we grew up in our families and neighborhood, we were breaking off a piece of ourselves, God Almighty, through every event in our childhood that's bringing us in the darkness of the woods. We broke this thing off in pieces by the suffering and the pain that we went through. Pieces of us was automatically, we couldn't see it, but we see it now.
I was getting ready to say there is a secret map.
Look out. And I told you.
There's a secret map.
The maps.
An invisible pathway that when you wake up, you begin to see it.
Yes.
And your waking up is seeing it.
During the time you were growing up, the realization of God was so strong in your awareness, consciousness. And it was hid until now that we're speaking this. What was happening to you as a child in the physical world,
and now,
and it hadn't stopped. It never stopped.
It's continued. It's perpetual.
You are now the manifestation of the goal that is producing many more operations that's pointing you toward the purpose and the reason why you came here.
And Phyllis Kendrick just said that. She said, teaching life, I'm 67 and came to this realization very recently and fully understand my purpose. Thankful for your teaching. I'm popping too.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I tell you, I'm popping because I saw that invisible pathway. I saw that secret map.
Pain and disappointment is an ointment.
The balm of Gilead.
The balm of Gilead is wrapped up in the pain and suffering that you went through and is going through now to manifest the power of your true self as the strength of God. I'm saying something that I feel something coming out and up inside of me right now. Now, watch this. Whatever comes up in us is coming up in you.
Okay. Pain is evidence that something is taking place internally.
It's called an impasse.
So pain in our lives is evidence of something changing, something taking place. And it is part of that invisible map. It's part of the invisible map.
Yes. When you get through, you might say, when the Lord gets ready.
No.
You are that Lord that is now ready to see everything that happened to you as a child up to this point and happening now. Even if there is a future, you are now seeing the truth of why you set it up like this in your divine self. Now remember this. You got to switch over from the physical and separation to the infinite identity now.
So it's sometimes, well, I won't say sometimes, if pain is there,
Yes.
you can't
Yeah.
you can't deny it that it's there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But you can acknowledge that it is there for a purpose.
Oh,
For a purpose.
Yes.
To flush out
Oh, yes.
that pure
Oh, yes.
being that you are.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's really not
Oh, my
anything to do, but
God.
just say yes.
Yes, yes. Vern says, yes, it is.
Yes, Lord.
Ilona says, we are popping this
My
morning.
soul says yes, and we're popping right
Oh,
on
my
time.
God. Oh, my God. Glad to see you with us, Janie. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I'm having a moment too, Israel. I tell you, I'm having a moment. I feel this thing so deeply because when I sat down this morning to this desk, I did not feel in my human self that I had anything to say. I did not feel that I had anything to give. I did not feel that this was what I should do this morning. But it is always what we should do.
If you look back over the past, and it's there in your mind, the pain and the suffering that you went through in your past childhood is your calling for the right now.
Oh, yes. And the pain that you're going through right now is your calling. It's your calling.
Translate it.
And you're called to whatever and wherever you are right now.
It is time for you to let the gift of interpretation of your past hurt and your present pain to be transformed into the glory of God and the kingdom of God.
Yes.
And it ain't doing nothing but honoring you. That's the reason why you had to go through it.
Then there's no more suffering.
Ah, Lord. If it is, and it is, let's just say, let's kind of be realistic.
Okay.
There's still some suffering right now.
Okay.
There is some, but sit down, tally up, count up the cost, because you getting ready to be paid.
Wow.
You getting ready for an increase in salaries.
Wow. Thank you, Janie. Thank you for receiving, darling. Thank you so much. This is the sermon to ourselves. This is to us and to you who are ourselves.
Pain. Go ahead.
Judy made a comment. She said, our soul knows what it takes to bring us back home to the truth of our being. Yes. And when we do meditation and we say, that means we're going home. Home.
Yes, home. Yeah.
That felt good, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Allow your mind of Christ's self to be let loose.
Oh, my Lord.
At this very moment that we're speaking.
Allow.
Loose yourself.
Said allow.
Loose yourself from all limitations and sit down. Write down, if you want to, a story about what you went through when you grew up.
And now.
Write it all down. Vern, write it down. Because God is showing you the power and the strength of your true self.
Yeah.
Because if you wasn't strong enough to take it, you wouldn't make it.
Wouldn't be in it.
It wouldn't be in
it. Iola said this. She said, it's like giving birth to a baby. You have to go through the pain in order to bring the baby forth. What a beautiful blessing once they get here. But the pain was necessary. And you know what? After you have the baby, most women, they talk about how terrible the pain was, but then they don't remember the pain because they'll go right back and have another baby.
Let me tell you something. That's what I like about y'all. You're switching back and forth in these areas of pain and suffering. Now that we're talking to you about this stuff for real, wisdom is now setting in on you.
Nancy Kelly. Hey, Nancy, I don't know if you've been with us before, but listen, she says this. Sometimes when I think about Jesus, I cry with a longing to go home. Now, let's address that because, Nancy, you don't know it, sweetheart, but home is not far away.
It's not a distance.
And home is not a long way off.
It's not a distance.
When you cry and you want to go home, that's your insides wanting to turn inward to where Christ is. Go in, Nancy. Go in, not out. Go in. Go in. Keep going in as deep as you can until you find the place where Christ lives. Go all the way in till you find the place.
If you just slip out of your false self just for a second, you'll see the benefits of everything that you're going through now and is going through and went through growing up. It is called the facts object.
Okay, now that's one of those locutions.
Of
Revelation. The mystic is God, but the mystic doesn't know how to put words to it. So go ahead and say it again.
You are getting over into what is called, you're going to find out as you wake up more to this that we're saying, you're going to find your fact object self. In other words, in your fact
or non-object self.
Or non-object or no object.
Right.
Facts, the fact of it is, you'll never have to ask anybody any questions at all to be translated to you because, oh God, what you grew up in and when you're going through now is now in the process of translating itself into a fact.
I'm gonna see if I can take Nancy home for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to do it. Okay, Nancy, let's take away your name. You have no name. Okay, let's take away your skin color. Okay, let's take away your female gender. Let's take that away. All right, let's take away your hair. Let's take away your arms and your legs. Okay, let's take away your face. All right, now let's take away your eyeballs. Let's take away your voice. Okay, let's take away your family. Let's take that away. Okay, and let's take away your race. Let's take away the schools you went to. Let's remove all that. Let's erase that. Let's erase every relationship you've had. Let's erase that. Let's see what else. Let's erase your job if you have one. Let's erase that. Let's erase your bills. Let's erase that. Let's erase your church affiliation or non-church affiliation, your groups. Let's erase that. Let's erase what you're thinking right now. Let's erase that. I could probably go on and on and on, but what are you left with? Because you're still here, even though I've taken all that away. You're left here, but all of that is not you. I hope you got what I did. I hope you got what I did. Hello, Sean.
Let's see what she said.
She says, you told me over 20 years ago that God was going to heal my scars and use everything in my childhood that happened for the good of others. And he has. Everything was used to help others. Thank you. That's about the pain you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have now been drained of all human experiences of blood.
Mhm.
And now it is divine substance
Mhm.
that has changed itself in our veins for the blood of Jesus,
Mhm.
the blood of Christ. The Christ blood is now flowing.
And you know, when
Lord
you
have
say
mercy.
Christ's blood, I don't see red blood.
Mm-mm.
I see like liquid
Mhm.
gold essence flowing through our veins.
This blood that flows through our veins now is called the school of inspiration, of translation, interpretation. Mm-mm.
Thank you, Nancy. I just took myself home when I did that for you. I went on.
Now, what's the big mystery behind this home thing? Is that home is God's paradise that He's made us out of.
God's paradise that He made us out of. Type that in, y'all. Home is God's paradise
that we're made out of.
That we're made out of.
Oh, home is God's paradise. It is God's oasis. It is God's. We are God's vacation. Vindicating the fact that we are God's opportunity to reveal through everything that we went through. And you need to understand this. The grown-up days of the childhood was the grown-up days again of the Christ that you thought you were not.
Wow.
That you end up finding that you are and have always been.
Yes. Home is God's paradise that we are made out of. Thank you, Sue. Pastor Norman, thank you. Home is God's paradise. Thank you, Phyllis Kendrick. Jill, thank you. Home is God's paradise. Wow, that's good. That's good.
Oh, God, this thing is something. I'm telling you, too. I'm about to jump up and down and stand on my head and pass gas straight up in the air. I'm telling you, too.
Now,
this stuff is something.
I got to address Nancy one more time because she said, I have such a longing to be there. Okay, let's deal with this, Nancy. Where is there, honey? Where is there in your mind? What does there mean? I have a longing to be there, meaning I am not there now. Is that what you're saying? I am not there. I have a longing to be there. So there's this space between me and there. And what is there? Tell me what you mean when you say, I want to be there. What is there? What is your mind telling you that is there? Oh, yes, you guys. Home is God's paradise that we are made of.
Being God's paradise, being God's heaven. Oh, Lord, here comes again. Being God, we are God's blessings.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
We want God to bless us, but see, our existence in oneness is blessing God.
Yes.
So that means we are blessings of God to Him. God's place is us. Now, when the question comes up that's being asked, I want to go home, you'll always hear that in your mind.
Sure.
And that's your mind asking that question, making that statement. Because when you wake up to who you really are, you find out that you are already home.
Let me address Nancy again, because I've got to help Nancy this morning.
All right.
She said, I can't describe it. Maybe it's the love of God. Okay, Nancy, let's deal with this. Okay. Who would you be? Oh, I want to ask it like that. How would you feel if you didn't have the thought, I want to be there? Just think about that for a second. Sit with it. How would you feel if you didn't have the thought, I want to be there? whatever there is, whether it's the love of God or whatever. It's a belief attached to that. The belief is, I'm not there now. How would you feel if you could drop that belief and not have the thought that I want to be there? How would you feel?
Okay.
Okay. Is that saying, are you saying incomplete? I want you to address it right now if you can hear me. I know it's a little bit of delay in what we're saying with you guys, but I need to know how you feel once you drop the belief that there is a need to go there. Okay? All right.
It sounds like a conditioned self-talking.
Yes. Well, it is. It is, and I'm trying to help her get out of it.
But you have to let the revelation take place.
Okay. Israel said no separation between you and the love of God. Exactly. Okay. So there's no place to travel to get there. Yes.
The suffering and pain and the growing up that you went through, and even now, is the calling of God universalness in the midst of a storm.
Yes.
In other words, there are some people that are in the faith movement that will stand out when a hurricane is supposed to come and speak to it with their mouth. Let me tell you something. If you speak to the storm with faith and it obey you, it's not obeying you because of faith. It's obeying you because of who you really are in your essence.
And it's not obeying you, your name.
No.
It's not obeying you as that person. It's obeying the essence that's there.
We all had to go through this passage.
Yes.
From childhood to this point now. To hear God say, I'm going to leave us out.
Okay.
To hear the infinite self say what we're saying to you right now. We are saying no more on the outside of you than what is being produced inside of you. Another thing you're going to find out as you move into this awareness in the area of epiphanies, you're going to find out that your heart is smarter than your head.
Yes, much smarter.
Our heart does not communicate with words. Our heart communicates with it. Here's the way our heart says. Here's the way the heart communicates. And then it'll quiet itself down, and stillness and no sound at all, the heart communicates.
Yes, yes.
The heart is 1,000,000 times in infinity smarter than your head. But we've never been told that. We've never been taught that. We've been taught that the mind, the mind of Christ is the mind of your heart.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The mind of Christ is the mind of your heart. The mind of Christ is the mind of your heart. The mind of Christ is your heart, not your head.
Now, I want to address some other comments.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Buzz. Hey, Buzz, hadn't seen you in a while.
Buzz Jr.
Although I know I am not these things, it can be hard to imagine myself as beyond these things that you mentioned. I imagine I will better understand my true self when my body dies. No, Buzz, you will have to find that before your body dies.
Buzz, no, your words are putting it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing that you guys are doing. You're pushing off at a distance and at another time the awakening, the enlightenment, the being there, when you can have it right now. You can have it right now. And it's not an imagining, Buzz. It is not an imagining.
That's like saying I'm in California, my wife is here in North Carolina, and as long as I'm separated from her, we're no longer married. That's not true.
So what's happening, I think, for Buzz and for Nancy, and this is not a put down, because you guys are talking for a lot of people who are having the same issue. So don't feel like we're picking on you. We're not, no. Because it's important that you guys understand where you're talking from right now. Buzz and Nancy, you're talking from your feelings of a sense of separation. You're talking from your mind that's telling you or predicting that you're not there because you don't see the signs. It that indicate that you are there. And so it causes you to continue to want to grasp and try to find and seek. But that's okay, because if you're going to do that, do it as hard as you can. Grasp, seek, look for, until you're absolutely frustrated and can't do it anymore and realize that there's nothing else to seek for. You'll have to go to the end, and we can't take you there. But you will find it. You will find it.
Okay. The heart and the mind must come together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that. Let's say it like this. What if the mind is just a fool? And
it's a drunk monkey.
Yeah, they just say
it's a drunk monkey.
Let's just say the mind is a identity or an it with a bad toothache.
And it's an inner judge.
Okay.
So it's actually judging. Nancy is judging you. Your mind is judging you. Buzz, your mind is judging you, saying you're not there. You're not that. And you're trying to see yourself as that because you're trying to cancel out the voice of the judge. Go
to your God in translation. What are you in definition of eternity?
Okay, Buzz says this. I'm glad you responded, Buzz. He said, I've experienced peace of my true nature, but I also experience anxiety sometimes. Oh, so do we. So do we.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
But I don't mind that I have it.
Listen. Peace, true nature, experience anxiety. Do you know that even though Jesus Christ was on the cross, his body was experiencing pain, but he was still hooked up with God?
Yes. It didn't change anything.
You're not going to stop this, Buzz. You're not going to stop this thing of going through these moments of anxiety. You're going to find out eventually that anxiety is something inside of you that's unhappy. But that's not you.
And let me say this too, Buzz. I noticed the key word in your statement is I have experienced peace. Okay. We're not talking about an experience.
No.
And so when your true nature is an experience, it will come and go. This isn't an experience that we're talking about, because what is happening is your mind is experiencing some selahs, some moments or days or of calmness, but that is not what we're talking about. So you can still have anxiety and your true nature still be your true nature.
Okay. The mind is blocking. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. You guys. I'm talking to you right now. Mm-hmm. And since I've been talking to you right now, I can look as the observer, detached from it. See, the reason why you're saying the mind is exactly blocking, you're still identifying yourself with the blocker.
As the blocker, yes.
The mind. Mm-hmm. As I've been talking to you right now, other thoughts are going through my mind of past, everything dirty, nasty, and filthy.
All kinds of thoughts.
I found out that is the way the mechanism works.
Yeah.
In the opposite. But who I am and finding who I am is not doing that.
So what sounds like to me is that the mind is disturbing you, and it's disturbed because you're disturbed.
Hey, I'm going to put it like I heard one of the sages say, the mind is insane. Mm-hmm. You're not. Mm-hmm. But if the mind is insane, you are the same Christ, mm-hmm. separate and apart from the mind, with or without the anxiety, with or without the pain. You are still free from it. When you see this, it's not an experience, it's something you see. It's insight.
Okay.
Inner seeing.
Yeah. Now, we can't fix you.
No.
So we're not going to try. But I'm going to ask you this question one more time. Both you, Nancy, and Buzz. Is it absolutely true that your mind is blocking you? Is it absolutely true that your mind is blocking you? I want you to think about it and answer it honestly. Is it true your mind is blocking you? Is it true that the anxiety has stolen your true nature of peace? Is it true?
No. Mm-hmm.
Is it absolutely true? If you can say yes, then you've got some work to do. If you say no, then that means you've been believing the wrong thing that your mind has been telling you.
The mind is constantly going over the past
and the future.
And the future.
Yeah.
The mind is constantly talking in everybody's head in this class. Yes. But now, majority of you guys out there have found out that the talker of the mind is not you doing that. It's not. Mm-mm. It is an it.
So my advice to both Buzz and Nancy and everybody is to learn the nature of the thinker. Learn the nature of the thinker, because it doesn't stop just because you want to know and you want to be that pure self and you want to find that. It doesn't stop. So you've got to transcend it.
Or look at it different.
That's the same thing.
Yeah. While you're driving your car.
And Israel says interceding. Yes.
While you're driving your car, does this car stop being a car just because you're sitting in it? Or is it sitting out in the driveway now, being less than an automobile and you in the house? No. The car's outdoors and you inside. Who are you? Are you the car or whoever's inside? You are the insider. Yeah. That is separate and apart from the car. If you want to drive your car, there's a part of you that have to go out there and get in it. But notice this, when you get in it, it is still a separate object from you. You are the operator of the car, and the car is doing nothing but abiding.
So what I hear you saying to them and to all of us is that there is a deeper you.
Thank you.
That you haven't found.
A much better you than the thinking.
You haven't found it. And it is by, like Israel says, it's by seeing. So you have experienced peace, but you haven't seen who peace is. Yeah. And peace is not an experience. No, it is who you are. It is who you are.
The car is in the driveway and you getting in it. Is the car you or you it? Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. You are separate entities. So you are really separated from anxiety, and you're separated from the thoughts and the memories of the past or the future. I just said to you guys, everything that happened to you guys when you were growing up was nothing but an example of what, and it's a prophetic word telling you that in the future, which is now, you're going to be seeing yourself totally different.
Look, I just said to you that when I sat down this morning, I didn't feel like I had anything to say.
That's right.
I didn't feel like I could tell you anything to help you. I didn't think that I should be doing this. I just said that to you. Yeah. I had to override it. I had to transcend all of those feelings, all of those beliefs about myself, all of those erroneous concepts. I had to let them go in order to see who I am and talk who I am and say it to you to bring you out of the grave.
It's like, I'll tell you what happens. You guys out there, some of you still doing it, I'm sure you are, driving your car and trying to text or read what is on your text phone.
Yeah.
Your attention is going somewhere else, and yet you're still in the car. It's called split consciousness. Mm-hmm. Some people, I've seen people practically run the stoplight on the phone, talking instead of paying attention to what they're doing in the car.
True.
That's why they got a law coming out, or it's already out, that anybody caught texting is going to be stopped.
Right.
And people are still doing it. There will always be a part of you in the mind, a part of us in the mind that is lawless.
Yes. So what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it?
When I found out that I was none of those things that I grew up in, but if I want to find how to use that as a stepping stone, All right, I go to it.
Yes.
When I go to it, I don't go to it dropping the fact that I am still not it.
Right. Right.
See, this is a skill that you'll learn.
It is.
It's a skill that you learn. And in the next 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, you guys are going to come back at us and talk different than what you're saying now.
Now, I want to say one last thing to Nancy. I love you, sweetheart. And look, when you say this, I understand and believe I need to be the observer. But sometimes the ego is just relentless. I'm going to pick apart your statement, okay? I understand and believe. Okay. First of all, when you've had a true seeing as the observer, there is no belief involved.
And the question that you're asking that is inquisitioning.
There is no it is a seeing without opinion, seeing without attachment.
Yeah.
And then you said, but sometimes the ego is just relentless. And if you're seeing the ego, you cannot be the ego.
That's right.
You hear me? If you see that the ego is relentless, who and what is it that's seeing that the ego is relentless? It cannot be the ego. Are you understanding this?
There you go.
And then you said, I need to be the observer. No, you are already the observer.
That's why you're able to see
that's why you see that the ego is relentless.
Yeah, you are the seer.
So you cannot be the ego if you're seeing that the ego is relentless.
You're the one watching it. The real you is watching it, observing it.
Finality to you, and I love you so much. Thank you for bringing it all up. Our time is out.
We're going to have to go. We have to go. We'll be back Tuesday, and we'll be back again on Thursday at 2:30.
Tuesday at 7, and then Thursday at 2:30
But listen,
with Pastor
thank you
Norman.
guys for monetarily supporting us.
Yes. Some of you already send your cash apps
and
in.
Thank you so much. We need that.
And I'm going to put up how you give to the church. I need to make sure that you do that as well. And we move Nancy's comment out. Yeah, there we go. All righty. And I got to move that out too, don't I? Okay. Now you can see it. So we will be back on Tuesday. We thank you so much for continuing to support the ministry. By the way, the ministry is still a virtual church. It still has expenses. So thank you all for continuing to send your tithes and your offering. And you got so many ways now that you can do that. And if I could make it any other way easier, I would. But this is the way you have to do it now. Text CLC Greensboro to 73256. Or you can do paypal.me/cornerstone35. That goes directly to Cornerstone.
Yeah, it doesn't come to us. It goes directly to Cornerstone.
Yes. And then if you can't do that right now, you can go to the website, which is thecornerstonelifecenter.com. And if you don't do any of that, you just do mail, then you can do P.O. Box 36259. Greensboro, North Carolina, 27416. Thank you so much for tuning in to us.
I wish we could go on like this, but see, when we stop here because of this physical time, it never stops in us.
No, it doesn't.
That's why I can come on here, don't have to have anything in front of me, and can talk to you guys, because this is a settlement. I am everything that God is before I open my mouth.
And Nancy and Buzz, we love you. We're praying that you will come into the actual, not experience, but the actual seeing of who you are.
Yes.
Okay, we love you guys so much, and we'll see you on Tuesday night at 7.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.